So after you have your pattern taped together, we can go ahead and cut out our corresponding size. I know mine is size D. You can refer to the size chart to find yours. So I'm going to cut on that line. You'll notice that there are 2 lines for every size. I do that to add an extra cushion, so if you're quilting your own fabric, usually there is some shifting that occurs, especially if you're a beginner quilter. So I recommend cutting on that outer line. That way, if shifting does occur, when you cut out the inner line, you'll definitely have enough for your size, rather than cutting out on the inner line and then maybe shifting occurs and then you have to cut your coat smaller. So if you're using a quilt or pre-quilted fabric, you can cut directly on that inner line. If you cut on that line and want to sew the pattern again, you can always just add, it's about a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. And I do that rather than just having you cut a general rectangle or blob out about the size of your pattern, is because if you're doing specific quilting lines, say on the front you want your quilting line to come here over this way, you want to know where that's going to fall in your pattern. Sometimes you don't need that, but I do find it helpful for certain quilting styles. So once you know what kind of fabric you're going to be using, whether that's pre-quilted or you're quilting it yourself, and then you know your size, you can go ahead and cut that out. Now that you are done cutting out your pattern pieces, you can move on to the next step. If you're going to be doing a hack that requires changes to the pattern, you're going to want to do that now. If not, then you can move on to cutting your fabric.